Hi everyone, I'm Joanna, very happy to be here with you today. I know it's middle afternoon now, so we will try to have this panel as dynamic as possible. We did have some small change, so you can see Emile is here with us today. We have Yacine, we have Christophe, and we have Joseph around the table. The other participant unfortunately cannot be there, but it will mean we will have more time also to discuss with the room and answer your questions. So this panel today is about healthcare, is about innovation and how the collaboration between our countries, France and GCCs, can produce innovative solutions, can help healthcare to develop. So on my side, it's my third year on Vision Golfe, and it's also my third year on this panel, and I'm very happy because you will see today we will also hear again very innovative solution. You will hear how transformative programs are settled and how they are working. All the Gulf countries have a development program, including a very strong care of population, healthcare and development, and all the countries are really working towards their goals. France has a long history of care, of taking care and of health for everyone, so at some point our objectives met each other. In order to start the conversation, I would like to ask Yacine. I will let you guys introduce yourselves at the beginning of all questions, because I think you will do it way better than myself. So Yacine, I'm always amazed by what you do. I can only say that you are an innovative teacher, a medical teacher, and you do many amazing things, but I will let you introduce yourself.
Merci beaucoup, Joanna. Bon après-midi à tous. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Yacine Ajat. I'm part of Dubai Health, obviously based in Dubai, where I moved about a year and a half ago. And I lead innovation and healthcare technology for the integrated academic healthcare system of Dubai. Meaning by academic integrated healthcare system, 2 years ago and post the pandemic and COVID, the Emirates of Dubai decided to establish a healthcare public system that is not only resilient for new challenges, but also being world-class kind of a healthcare system. The model of an integrated healthcare system is when you put together a university. This is Mohammed bin Rashid University of Health Sciences, where I'm a faculty and professor on innovation and healthcare technology in the College of Medicine. But also you add to it the university hospitals, and we have 6 of them, healthcare primary centers, we have about 50 of them, specialized hospitals and centers, we have about 10 of them, and all the research institutes. This is all the public health system of the Emirates of Dubai that represent roughly 50% of the healthcare network. The other half is obviously private. As part of that transformation, the Emirates of Dubai also kind of targeted 5 strategic initiatives and imperatives for the next 5 years to achieve that goal and ambition to be leading a world-class healthcare system and a resilient healthcare system. One of them was to embrace innovation, to embrace technology, and also to forge international alliances. That's where I joined, and I started by establishing the practice and the chair in the College of Medicine and in our university. So we start teaching from year 1 medical students innovation and technology, then moving to discovery and research, trying to enable technology innovation from research, moving to development and innovation, and certainly try to implement eventually as many solutions in the care system and the patient we serve. On a yearly basis, we serve about 4 million patients. Again, this is the Emirates of Dubai, but that's kind of the background on what I'm doing in Dubai, but also maybe to give a perspective on what is really the ambition and what is the dynamic of this transformation of the healthcare system in Dubai. And it's quite exciting to be there and trying to drive a little piece of it, which is the innovation and technology.
Thank you very much, Yacine. How does everything you do is perceived is it very strategic? How is it perceived by the rest of?
I think there is a part that is obviously strategic. We are a newly established organization. We are barely 2 years, so everything is kind of still in a vision level. Yet it's extremely operational because we are merging and we are bringing the hospitals, the clinics, the curriculum, the students, and so on and so forth. And my work, I would say, in a year and a half has been like probably 6 months strategic, putting slides and putting plans and going to the board and trying to show what the curriculum would maybe need and look at, how a department and a center, how an incubator could serve all this kind of overall strategy. But after 6 months, really was the execution. And for the last 12 months, I was really like head down, trying to bring the team together, to build a department, to build the incubator, to start putting international alliances. And we've put some quite amazing ones with the West, with the East, and started now with France as well. So it was very important for me, being from France, also to connect it to some of our academic institutions, to healthcare institutions, and also to startups. I'm happy to add to it. But if it's about the balance between the strategy and execution, it's obviously it starts with a vision, it starts with a strategy. But what I'm learning as well in this part of the world is that we move into action quite quickly, and the pace is quite amazing, and it's quite exciting.
Thank you very much. Just before maybe asking you a few other questions, I wanted to ask you, Christophe, you are the CEO of a very dynamic, tech-driven company, very innovative. And when you hear all the innovations that Yassine is driving in Dubai, how make it you feel about developing your company, about the region? What's your point of view on that?
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Clearly at Titium we develop technologies. This technology was invented at VMIT and developed by Titium, which is a French company. Basically we license the technology, and it has a forefront of innovation. Basically VMIT invented a new material that allows us to invent new procedures. And when I hear about all this innovation, basically our ambition has always been to bring our technologies to patients in the different settings, and basically being able to provide those solutions to many different regions is central to what we do. Just to give you a sense of the technologies behind Titium. So Titium has developed a family of materials that can reconnect tissues together in an electromagnetic manner. Basically, we can reconnect tissues without using staples, sutures, or tacks, which are traumatizing the tissue you're supposed to repair. And basically, we transform that material into ways to reconnect and repair tissue inside the body. We do that today in the space of peripheral nerve repair, where basically after a trauma, you can reconnect nerves together. We do that, we can use the technology also in the space of ventral hernia repair, basically when your abdominal wall has a damage and needs to be repaired, same cardiovascular. And thanks to the material, we have been able to build a pipeline. So in the early days, what we did was try to advance new solutions, but it will be very interesting to work in the region and to try to define new surgical procedures that could benefit patients, that could be co-invented or co-designed, leveraging our platform of materials, first for the region, and eventually we could spread those technologies around the globe. So we really see also this as an opportunity to co-innovate together.
Thank you very much. Yassine, maybe I will not ask you straightforward if this solution could interest you, but can you also tell us how Dubai's selection solution, if you have like ongoing partnership with friends, if you could give us example, it will be wonderful. Thanks.
Sure. Maybe if I can give a little bit more context and details about that. For example, the department and center that I'm building that was launched last week. So that's again another example maybe on the pace of execution. So my department, we have 4 main focuses and disciplines within the university and the care system. So design for health as human-centric design and innovation. We have digital medicine as evidence-based digital health interventions. We have AI and data, robotic and sensors. Those are the kind of the 4 themes. It doesn't mean it's exclusive, but it means that it got a 50% or at least of the focus that we do. The second piece that is important is it's really a bridge for the private-public partnership. We're a public health institution, and we want to work with tech companies, with innovators, with life science companies to really cross-fertilize and co-create and co-invent together. And I think, Christophe, this is what you said, and this is for us, at least, and for me, and on behalf of my organization, something that is extremely important. I think there is a shift in the mindset and the expectation on being less transactional as a region as perceived, maybe in the past where people would do R&D somewhere else and come and try to sell in the Middle East. by investing, by shifting, by changing a healthcare system, by putting like innovation practice and so on, we want to attract more R&D. We want to attract more co-development, co-innovation together. And that's kind of maybe a key thing to highlight maybe to the audience as well on the mindset that is maybe shifting in the region. It's less and less transactional. There is a high expectation for people to come and create value there. And I speak on my behalf. I'm building a department. I'm looking for people who would come and push the extra mile with me to not only implement, but maybe validate, adapt, or even co-create ultimately.
Yeah, you can go. And then I think, Emile, you would like to add something, but Christophe, you can go and... Yeah.
Just to give an example, our first product in the space of peripheral nerve repair was developed and tested and designed in Australia. The second program has been developed in France, a third one in Belgium, and now we are going in the US. So clearly, as we develop solutions, we can partner with local professionals and innovative institutions. At the beginning, because it was a new material, we had ourselves to put together those innovations and demonstrate their value. But as we go forward, since we can leverage the platform and the material, we will have much more possibilities to co-design and co-innovate on those systems. So the first chapter, if I can say so, was let's make sure that this technology works and does what it's supposed to do, which is now where we are. But moving forward, we'll be able to welcome and collaborate on those potential future innovations.
I will now give the floor to Emile Joquet.
Yes, thank you, Joanna, and good afternoon, everyone. So, just a few words of introduction. Emile Joquet, I'm the CEO of French Healthcare Association, which is the public-private initiative backed by the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs, with the mission to support and to promote French healthcare ecosystem abroad. So, we have a focus specifically on building economic partnerships. So basically we are facilitators, matchmakers between French ecosystems and its foreign partners. So thank you, I thank Business France for this kind of invitation, because I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to speak in front of you today, to speak about our commitment to GCC countries, to strengthen our collaboration, exactly with what you said, Yacine, to change, and we are committed from past years now, to change the approach, which was essential historically on commercial transactional exchanges, to long-lasting partnerships, strategic collaboration. And I think, because it's the subject of this roundtable, but it is exactly what you just said. Innovation, and more specifically health tech, is key to this change of mindset. Why is that? Because we think that health tech, specifically health tech, show our similarities into public health challenges, such as, non-communicable disease, chronic care needs, and the need to strengthen healthcare system efficiency and resilience regarding, for example, pandemics. Why? Because I think health tech is, on this matter, particularly game changer on that, and we can build something around that. We can start on this matter to build something new together, a long-lasting partnership. Whereas historically, because we have different healthcare system, we must and we had to adapt too drastically on other health sectors as French people. So we can start together something new, something innovative, and something hopefully long-lasting.
Thank you very much, Emile. So we had the point of view of especially Christophe and Yacine, who are innovators, sorry, of Emile, who helps them, supports them. And I think it will be very interesting now, Joseph, to have your point of view as a buyer also, not only, but also, and to see what do you think about what you just heard, what is your vision of innovation, and how the tech could drive
Thank
the
you very
ecosystem.
much indeed, and good afternoon, everybody. Joseph Hazel from Apex Health. We're a Qatar company, part of Estithmar Group, which is on the Qatar Stock Exchange, so 5,000 Qatari shareholders. I think, as colleagues have been saying here, that the pace of change, the speed of innovation and how things can really mobilize things in the GCC region is really quite extraordinary. For example, the leadership of Qatar decided to introduce mandatory health insurance. They've been predominantly a public sector. They want to build up the private sector. So we started really just 2 years ago, like my colleague here as well. And already we established the leading hospital with a partnership, this one with America, with Cedars-Sinai. We now have the leading hospital in Qatar for the insured market, per se. On top of that, we established the first public-private partnership with a military hospital. And we've opened up with a European partnership, and we also have opened up a Korean hospital with 4 different partners there, but the leading one being Asan Medical, the #1 from Korea. So that's bringing world-class expertise to Qatar to build up a proper, strong private sector group. From that, we've then developed and leveraging out internationally. So we've agreed with the government of Algeria to build and operate a hospital, which we're starting the construction there. We've taken on the management of 2 600-bed hospitals in Iraq. We've agreed to design, build and operate a hospital also in Iraq. And we've just started our first hospital in Libya, a cardiovascular center. And we've got so many more projects coming around the region. GCC, MENA, Central Asia. And it's extraordinary because it's a Qatar company bringing international expertise outward into the field and around. But the hub of expertise is in Qatar. Now, the whole region of GCC has been doing this transformation. How do you have a stronger regulatory framework that allows strong public sector and strong private sector? How do we move from being people always thinking you have to travel abroad and do something outside of the region? How do we bring that right culture and expertise into the region? Now, bringing the innovations, bringing that leadership to that fore is really what's making the difference to us. So for us, we talk about things like AI, we talk about new technology. There's so much in the space. We would like to establish more relationships with French suppliers. We have a number. We have a strong sort of workforce from France as well. But we need more. We need to build up, for us to be able to deliver the growth that we've got over the next 3-4 years, we need more and more good, strong partnerships. But as we said about transactional or what sort of arrangements it should be, for us it's really collaboration and partnerships, strong partnerships, so it's long-lasting. With healthcare, we talk about 15, 20, 25 years. We need people who are in it for the long game. Things are changing, like in every industry, so quickly, so fast, that we need people who are agile, who are at the top of their game, and we need to bring that expertise into this region. It is an exciting time and place.
Yes, I jump on it.
I just wanted to say also that you do something wonderful that could help soon. So.
Yes, exactly. So, yes, I agree 100% with you on that. And why Gulf countries offer, I think, a favorable environment to French companies to build that partnership, that kind of partnerships, is because over there, public institutions are engaged also. It is private sector, but all public institutions are committed to foster private partnerships. Also because we see as French actors that there is in each country actually openness to pilots and innovation. And when you look at all the strategy in the country, you see that digital health also, so one kind of innovation, very, very major today. Digital health is integrated into wider national strategy, whether you are in infrastructures, you are in training, you are in research, and even for pharmaceutical companies, adherence to treatments. That's very, crucial also for us. And maybe, and this is the important part, I think also that GCC countries have larger room for maneuver because it's mostly also that kind of project are mostly greenfield project, and it is important because you have there the mean to your ambition. So we can develop from greenfield project, and this is an asset. So lucky us, we have that kind of expertise to provide to you to build that kind of partnership. We have health tech startups, we have also research institutions, hospital, engineering firms, education centers, which one thing in common is that we are working already abroad. We are specifically built to go abroad, and we are able to contribute to integrated, multi-sectoral, and above all, tech-embedded solution. So how do we proceed? Now, that's the question, and maybe that's the point you wanted me to highlight. How can we do it? Obviously, to develop contact between people first, to create the momentum in order to French offers or French stakeholders and GCC stakeholders to meet, to create that kind of moment here in Vision Golfe, along with our partner Business France, along with our partner the Chamber of Commerce, or public diplomacy, also French diplomacy. And we also have some kind of forum, business forum, in order for this actor dedicated to healthcare, to this actor to meet, not in a public and political way, but in a business-related and a business-centered approach. So obviously, we'll be here to connect the people, to invite your people in Paris next January, because the French Healthcare Business Forum takes place in next January. We are working on that with our partner Business France, but also with the French diplomacy, to connect French providers with GCC distributors, GCC decision makers, or even yourself, partners like the organization you represent today.
Thank you. I think, if I may, just the quick thing for me is really, again, not just thinking about the Saudi Arabia, the UAE, the Qatar. The opportunity is the fact that not just within those countries, about those are the developing, those are the hubs, they're the pilot places, but really about they then expand out from that region. So you have such a wider market than you think you have by just focusing on the small area, because the influence that region has on the rest of the wider spectrum is enormous. And so for me, that's really our leverage of getting those models right, developing those things within the UAE, Saudi, and Qatar, and the GCC, but then really taking it outwards and really pushing forward. Because the stronger relationships culturally, it makes it really good collaboration between France and the whole region.
Yeah, you're perfectly right to stress it, because I think here are how complementaries also, because we can share our knowledge on the market, we can share our network between partners to be more competitive, to be more efficient, to address global health needs into all world regions, actually. Yeah.
Thank you, and I hope that maybe next year we will make the list of the contracts that has been signed. No, I have another question, Joseph, on business matter, and then after I have other question to ask you. But a lot of French companies see PPPs. Has to explore PPPs and to understand them. It's a model that could be different sometime. With your expertise, can you also give us some insights on those PPPs for Qatar?
Yeah, I think PPPs has a funny terminology. Quite often people get a bit concerned with the public ethics approach compared to they perceive the private sector is separate and maybe looking for the margins side of it. It's very much a strong collaboration about how certain areas and certain things can be delivered in an efficient and productive manner. So as we all know, healthcare is becoming a ridiculous percentage of GDP and constantly growing further and further, and those challenges for people is enormous. In Qatar, for example, they've decided to move to the mandatory health insurance to take the free service off the burden of the state. Why not the employers paying for their share of their waves, as rightly so? So using the PP model really is about how do you bring the efficiency and expertise rather than sometimes innovation can be stifled in the public sector. Sometimes there's lots of other responsibilities that the public sector have, and there's elements which can be allocated to PPP projects where it can be contained, it can be productive, efficient. It doesn't bring necessarily better quality, as we all know. The public sector is very good. The private sector can be equally good, but it's not better. It's really about how do we be more productive and more efficient in certain models. And they're held to certain KPIs they've got to deliver. Public sector has a budget as well, so it's got to work within the same constraints and come out with the same outcomes. But it's largely about productivity. So the models we do both private and public. We have design, build, operate, or we'll simply operate existing hospitals. But we will have a capped contract. We will have certain KPIs we've got to meet and deliver. And there's certain extras that we can bring from outside the regions that people are in. So, for example, in Qatar, we're looking after a military hospital. We now have visiting doctors from around the world, from Switzerland, from Germany, from US, etc. We bring in a lot of different expertise to them they wouldn't necessarily be looking at forward.
Maybe if I can add maybe the perspective of the public sector and maybe with a different angle. So this is more from an operating model indeed on the PPPs. When I mentioned about when we established the innovation practice or the center, the public-private kind of collaboration was a key target. It was even a KPI for us, kind of engage with private sector to foster innovation, co-innovation, and even spin-off and business impact. So Christophe, you mentioned about your company. It's a spin-off from MIT that is now a full-scale of venture. This is something that now Dubai wants to push. So part of the work of in my center is to try to maybe invest in high-risk, early-stage research and then find maybe this tech transfer partner to spin off that technology and first layer is to implement it in our healthcare system, but then there is an ambition to take it abroad. So this is another angle from the public sector and what we mean by PPPs as well, or industry partnership and public-private kind of co-innovation and research.
Yeah, indeed. If I look back at when we started the company with the MIT, I was quite surprised positively by the way and the intensity of a technology transfer office and their drive to build new companies. Honestly, the way we worked and designed the license while we were still fundraising the company, there was clearly motivations to make sure that this technology, if possible, could become a reality to patients. And just to share this specific story, I started the company with Maria Pereira, who invented the technology while she was doing her PhD. So basically, Maria invented the technology at the MIT while she was doing her PhD. And she worked to get it from the bench to the bedside. And we have done that three different times for 3 different indications. That's quite unique. And I think it's a long run. It took us 10 years from ideation to having an impact on patients. But if you invest early on, and if you're willing to push for these technologies by giving the companies the means to make it work, then it's feasible.
Sorry, Joanna, if I can add to it again, try to make it an example in the GCC and the reality, like for example in Dubai Health. Of course, we're not at the level of MIT, far from it. Our IP policy was drafted and launched end of 2024, so long way to go. Yet for maybe the people in the room who have maybe from the business side or startups, there is a willingness in the GCC in Dubai to push for this kind of collaborations now. I belong to a university where the IP policy is extremely flexible. To support the PI and to support also the business ventures. We're establishing an enterprise level for business ventures. There is a CVC fund in Dubai as well to fund those kind of ventures. So maybe it adds a perspective for the audience, in terms of opportunities, I mean.
And just a caveat is that as a provider, we have to be pragmatic and use and deliver certain things that have been accredited already. So as we discussed about FDA approval, CE marks, it's important that we get to that stage of the innovation so that then it can be practically used and delivered around the region.
Yeah, for sure. And this is something which is great in the region, is the pragmatism to be willing to welcome accreditation from the United States, or validation from the FDA, but also from the notified body. And this is, I would say, this is unique in the region because most other regions in the world, they stick to one other system. And in the GCC region, there is a willingness to embrace innovation so that we can have a positive impact on patients. And clearly, all those products need to be validated, obviously. But if you are able to have a long-term vision and being willing to invest, because it takes time, healthcare takes time, that's the reality. I'm sure there are ways to put the right ecosystem, especially by making sure that the company, because at the beginning of the company, it's a small and fragile entity. So basically, is what can be done, and if you're saying that there is a real flexibility there, this is what we need in the early days, because it's a very fragile element, a startup. But if you can surround those entities with the right environment to allow them to test, fail, and then correct and succeed, basically you will be able to develop those innovations with a long-term vision, obviously.
And to add to that, and to add to what I said, first one, what we're looking for is people willing to come, co-create, co-invent, advance locally, rather than sell. The transaction will always be there, it's not a bad word, but there is a value creation that is expected. I think there is an ecosystem that is willing to open doors, to be flexible. I mentioned about the example of my university on the IP policy. I can also add another example to the audience and even startups like yours, Christophe. There is a mechanism, a funding mechanism that was launched in Dubai last year called RDI. So you can check it online. It's Research, Development and Innovation by Dubai Future Foundation. And I want to highlight it because I'm not sure I came across similar models around the world that offers that kind of attractiveness, I would say. Last year it was just a test, like 10 projects, 1.5 million dirhams for academic institution for research and development to push ideas to innovation and commercialization. This year, the ruler of Dubai and DFF, Dubai Future Foundation, announced 250 million a year for the next 3 years. So 750 million dirhams, of course, but it's really a sizable amount of money. But beyond the money, the mindset behind it, again, as an example, is that 50% of the grant has to stay and be invested in Dubai. 50% can go to the partner institution. It's a lot. It's a lot. In a lot of grants, public grants, 70, 80, if not 90% need to stay in the country where the fund is coming from, including in France. In the UAE, they allow 50%. So that's also a call for collaboration actions. Check RDI, Dubai Future Foundation. If you are a startup, in innovator, in health tech, healthcare is only one vertical. There are like 3 or 4 others. If you're an academic institution, you partner with a local academic institution, you can go to 1.5 million for 3 years, and 50% can go to the foreign company, 50% for the academic local institution. So that's just another example on the ecosystem that is really calling for collaboration and co-investment, co-development, co-innovation.
Thank you so much. No, that's very interesting, and I think a lot of companies can explore. A reminder also that Business France has a wonderful team in Dubai, so do not hesitate to reach them. We've been talking a lot about innovation, co-creation, co-development. I wanted to add also that we do have training programs in France for people from the GCC, especially the Médecins du Golfe program, where each year we select around 90 doctors to do their residency program and then fellowships in France. That also help to link our ecosystem, and I'm already working on developing even more this program to connect topics such as bioinformatics, IA, and everything, in order to be able to link people even more. We do have some more minutes, and we can ask questions on the room. But maybe on this training and knowledge sharing, would you have some point to add?
Sure. I mean, if I may, just the knowledge sharing arrangements we have now with our international partners already is about what we're bringing into Qatar and taking outside. Now, a lot of what we're expected to do is academic training. teaching the local workforce, building up the workforce in the different countries as we go. So those kind of academic programs are essential and absolutely fantastic. As we know, over the years coming, there's going to be more and more shortages of doctors. They're getting more and more stressed. AI is going to do some of the elements at the junior level. The challenge is if you don't have the junior doctors, you won't have the senior doctors later on. So it's absolutely incredible. I mean, important about GCC has the same supply constraint of workforce. They're all developing different programs and seeing how they can build that resilience. But that whole, to make a sustainable, resilient healthcare system in any country, whether it's the funders, the regulators, to standardize things, the workforce is still absolutely key. People come and see doctors. They don't come to hospitals. They don't come to tech things or anything else. They come and see doctors. They need to have that trust. So we really need to build up that workforce, which is very strong, resilient, capable, and give them all the tools and support to really help them do the best job.
Yes, thank you. And yes, the training program, the academic program you mentioned, I think it shows and it's part of the consistency you're trying here in public administration in France, trying to set, you're trying to put public policy which are consistent, and I think it's all related to the need to work as a network. If we want to achieve what we are talking about here, to build long-lasting partnerships and to thrive and to expand out this kind of partnership abroad on other continents. And I talk specifically to French companies here. We need to work as a network. I think it's crucial. Why that? Because, and you mentioned it, the PPP's approach, the Greenfield project I mentioned, all that kind of thing. French company individually won't be able to fulfill your expectation on it. They need, to find partners, to create collaboration, to integrate solution in order to be able, I think, today, regarding our economic ecosystem, mostly SMEs, actually, both in equipment or services. We need to work as a network, and also because it gave us better insight about local context. I will probably state the obvious here, but each GCC countries are different. They are not uniform. So we need to understand the culture, the needs. We need to know the strategy, and they are different because GCC countries are trying to pursue different strategy in order to be, to play their assets, their own assets. So we need to work as a network between companies, but also with the French ecosystem, the export support ecosystem, such as the French diplomatic network, like Joanna, the Business France, the Chamber of Commerce, as I mentioned earlier. And we are also in French healthcare very proud to be, part of this ecosystem, to connect the people, because in one part for French people, it's French company, it allows them to find the right partners, but also for foreign partners, it allows them to find the best French also partners in a quicker and easier way, because we are simplifying and we are diminishing the entry door into French ecosystem. So basically, yes, the key here, and I think it's to work as a network between us, but inside French ecosystem between companies.
I think for my journey so far in a year and a half, I put a lot of the focus on establishing the innovation alliances or clinical alliances through the organization. And we have a few of them already in place in the US with UMass, Rochester Institute of Technology, Birmingham or King's in the UK, all the way to NUS and QUT in Australia. France is coming up. I'm pushing for it. We are about to sign an MOU with the l'ESCP Business School as part of my department. I'm still affiliated with l'INSERM, so from a research perspective, we're also pushing that. You mentioned about clinical rotation, sending our clinicians or students. That's still a bit of a challenge, more from a language perspective, maybe for the students, but I'm sure we can do better.
My goal is to achieve signing an agreement with Dubai Health. If you guys do not have anything specific that you would like to add, I suggest that we ask the room if one of you guys have a question. One, you have been very clear, I guess. Oh, everybody's tired. Would you like to add a last word?
For me, I'd just like to say thank you very much indeed. And it's been a very good day to us. We've already met a number of people who are very interested in supporting us as we go forward. We have a number of good relationships, obviously, already. But it's been a very useful day to go through and make some very good connections. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us today. And indeed, for me, this is my first opportunity to participate to this event. And I was able to establish many different relationships that I know will be very fruitful as we move forward and allow us to bring our innovations to patients.
As maybe my last word is a call for action for la collaboration. Allow me to switch. Donc c'était un vrai plaisir d'être avec vous aujourd'hui. Je pense que vraiment, j'espère avoir été clair aussi dans l'appel à cette collaboration qui s'offre à nous. Il y a un écosystème qui est riche, qui est rapide, qui est très ambitieux. Tout est lié à la compréhension des attentes, et l'attente, c'est vraiment pour venir co-créer, co-investir, co-inventer ensemble. Et à partir de là, il y a des opportunités extraordinaires à partir du moment où on arrive à lire un peu l'écosystème, qui est accueillant, mais qui demande encore un peu d'énergie, de compréhension. Mais à partir de là, on peut faire des choses extraordinaires, et je suis à vos dispositions pour en discuter après le panel.
Okay, so my turn, and to conclude, myself, I opened by saying that we are matchmakers, so I will conclude by saying, yeah, feel free to see me after the panel, and I will be more than happy to provide contacts regarding your need, your specific need. We are, and I'm very happy about that, but too many to be all of us on stage today between French healthcare companies. So that's my job, you know, to do the matchmaking. So yes, obviously I'm at your entire disposal for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Golf market are strong, but thank you. Thank you very much.